And so when you had access to the person that you should have called before you made that move, you didn't, and now it may cost you because from what I'm looking at, and I got to make one more phone call, they may have a surrender penalty just for transferring the money over.
Ooh. Yeah. So now you twice.
You see what I'm saying? So I took a financial situation and turned it into a natural and a spiritual thing. So now you'll recoup it from the interest that you're going to move it from the vehicle, but you shouldn't have to recoup it when all you had to do was make a phone call and say, hey, I was thinking about doing blah, 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 blah. What's your take on this? When you knew that the person that you was dealing with was new to that side and you knew somebody that got 20 years in the game.
Make that make sense.
Make it make sense. So when you're talking about carrying weight, once again, when I use the sofa analogy, who's willing to help you release what is burdening you?
The B2S podcast is brought to you by Motivated Apparel. Motivated Apparel, the premier gear for motivation. A brand that motivates, inspires, and empowers you to stay motivated while chasing your dreams. Head on over to www.shiftmotivations.com/shop motivated apparel and grab yourself some motivated apparel today.
Hey, yo, what up, world? What it do? Hey, welcome to another episode of the Blueprint to Success podcast. Hey, we are excited and delighted for you to be joining with us on tonight. Once again, we back in the act, back in effect. Took a couple weeks off, man. Schedules kind of got crazy between the three of us, man. So we just decided to just go ahead and shut down production for a couple weeks. But, man, we back at it. Blueprint Nation, stand up, man. Y'all know what it is. Your boy Mike Mariner, a.k.a. the Shift Motivator. Shifting into a new season, man. Can you hear it in my voice? I'm excited and delighted, man. Got some new things going on in this season. You know, school's about to get back going, so football season is upon us. You know, all my football fanatics, stand up, man. Y'all know what it is. We've been waiting all year for this moment, and it's here. Yes, sir. Y'all know what it is, man. Well, let's go ahead and get this show on the road, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Y'all know, give it up for our co-host, my brother from another mother, Mr. Dumbo, Mr. Like Me, hey, Mr. Throne Room. Y'all give it up for the philosopher himself, Dr. Alexander Hall. Yeah, I threw that doctor in there. Mr. Philosopher.
That's how you going doctor route. That's a long journey, man.
I'm telling you.
Bro, your mind just different, dog.
Yeah, you know
how
what?
you just put words together?
I take the time to flow through whatever it is I'm going through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't try to rush it. God is like, yo, you need to slow it down, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So I just try to work through whatever situation that it is. I actually try to get real understanding on what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And that takes time, it takes energy, sometimes it hurts, but you get a lot of perspective on that, you know what I mean? So that's why, bro. Everybody don't want to take that time, you feel me?
Thanks.
For sure.
Hey, that's what's up,
different
man.
caliber, I tell you.
Hey, Blueprint, man. Y'all know what it is, man. We excited to be back in the act, man. Y'all know who this guy is on my right, your left. My brother from the same mother.
The biggest bag.
Big bag.
What's happening?
Big Dub.
I accept it.
All right. If I ain't got it, I can go get it.
I receive it.
But I always got it.
So I give it. You know what I'm talking about?
Y'all give it up for Boy Wonder, man.
What's going on?
What's happening?
Oh, man, bro. I feel substantially blessed.
Cat Williams has just entered the building.
I feel like, I'm feeling. No, but it's good, man. it's like a mixture of good and good. You know what I'm saying? I got to do it like that. You know what I'm saying? Good and good. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know, it's good and then it's getting there. You know what I'm saying?
It's good and it's getting there.
Facts, you know, like your words have power. So I'm just trying to, you know,
read between the lines.
Read between the lines. You know what I'm saying? You know. We're just getting over this plateau, you feel me? But it's been good, man. You know, got some good news. I thank y'all for the support, man, because Crazy is almost charted. So y'all keep spinning it. Please.
For sure.
Just got some great news from DJ Will. He's been working alongside with me. So it's been over 20 years, bro. Me and him has been working. Like he's been at the beginning of my career. So I just
shouts out DJ Real Jackson.
Yeah, man. So I just like
man.
Crazy been a trending video for the last 3 months. So I'm grateful.
I mean,
so
the video was crazy.
Yes.
y'all did that. Yeah.
I mean, bro, I sent it to DJ Kojak and he was like, man, you striking Rick. Yeah, so speaking of Rick, you know, we're gonna have a 316 tour going on too. So
I just saw that yesterday.
Yeah. So he's got some things brewing. So I'm excited for him. He's got his own thing going on. So I said, bro, you know, I'm an open book. I got you. Whatever you need help with, just holler at me. I got you. I'm an open book.
Hey.
Shift motivator.
Man, yeah, bro. Well, hey, Blueprint, man, it's going down, baby. Hey, man, so if you are in the Polk County or the surrounding area, August 22nd from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., I need you at Auburndale High School. If you got kids, if you got somebody in middle school, high school, you just left school, I hit up my some of my 2026 class seniors as I teach senior English. I hit them up, say, man, if y'all still around, pull up. You know, we got something for you. So we're doing a youth empowerment event. So me and the wife, we finally got the nonprofit on the road. You know, big shout out to the wifey. So our first event up under the foundation, the Live to Impact Foundation, is actually going to be a youth empowerment event as we get ready to get the kids ready to go back to school. So it's going to be food trucks, man. But one that's gonna be there. I got a couple artists gonna be there, a couple hosts gonna be there. I'll be a speaker. Got my boy Micah MP3 Pool coming in from St. Pete. Man, y'all don't want to miss that, man. My dog get down.
Sir.
Telling you, my dog get down, bro. So I'm excited, man. And so we're gonna be having it at the auditorium in the high school, August 22nd, from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Man, have gaming truck games. You know, a lot of things gonna be going on, man, for the kids. So it's gonna be kind of interesting to see how everything, you know, kind of get put together, how we're going to have the inside and the outside, but we're going to make it work. All right. So it's going to be a top notch event. You want to come in, you know, enjoy some time with your kids and get pulled into, as, you know, because it ain't about the kids just going back to school. The parents are going back to school too, because now, you know, those are added responsibilities, making sure they get where they need to get and also do the work that they need to do. So that's a time that you kind of locked in too, or should be locked in, let me say that much. For sure. At the same time. So, man, y'all pull up, man, August 22nd, Auburndale High School, Polk County, Florida, One Bloodhound Trail. We in the building.
Yes, sir.
And DJ Bush gonna be on the ones and twos, man. My boy be spinning. Y'all, he do his thing, man. So it's gonna be a lot going on that day, on a Saturday, August 22nd. Couple weeks, kids gonna be already in school. I did that purposely and intentionally. So, because I wanted to do something right back at the beginning of the school year while the kids were just kind of getting acclimated. So I know there's going to be a lot of back to school bashing and stuff going on. So y'all make sure y'all tap into those, go get what you need. But then we going to come in, we going to do what we do. All right. August 22nd, 10 a.m., 1 p.m., Armadale, Polk County, Florida. Y'all stand up. Don't meet me there, beat me there. All right. Let's get into tonight's episode. Yeah, we're going to be getting one in, a heavy one on tonight. So we're going to be talking about the weight that you was never meant to carry. So here's the thing, man. Many people are exhausted, right? And it's not because they're working too hard, but it's because they're carrying things that they weren't meant to carry. Other people's expectations, past mistakes, guilt, comparisons, fear, and the pressures of having to prove themselves. So success becomes much easier when you learn what to release. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, man. There's just some things that you're not meant to carry, you know, and as all of us at this table here are, held or hold jobs, right? But we're also business owners and entrepreneurs at the same time. And so that in itself carries a weight that if you're not in that space, you would have no clue. You know, you go in from week to week, day to day, you punch a clock, you know what you have to do. There are systems, there's people, there are buildings, materials, there are things in place that you don't have to pay for. You know, you go in, you do your responsibilities, you clock in, you clock out, you go home. But to my business owners and entrepreneurs, you know, it's that's not your story. You know, you know, sometimes you clock in and you don't clock out. You ever had those times where you know you punched in, but you were like, dang, I forgot to punch out. Let me call my boss. That's how entrepreneurship is, man. It's like sometimes you forget to clock out. You got to grab yourself like, man, let me get a hold of let me release some of this stuff, you know, at the end of the day, because you got to make sure the marketing material is there. You're the one that has to make sure things are done if you don't have a staff. And if you do have a staff, that's added weight because your productivity produces their livelihood and their lifestyle. So that means if I don't produce, not only do I not eat, but they don't eat. So that's another weight that you carry. So if you never been in that space, it will be hard for you to understand that particular space. But everybody has a weight that they carry for whatever reason or other. So we just want to encourage you and give you some things to take with you on the day to kind of help you begin to navigate life without carrying unnecessary weight. There's certain weights that you have to carry because of the responsibility that comes with it. Yeah. Responsibility and leadership go hand in hand. There's a weight that comes with leadership. That's why most people do not want anything to do with leadership because they understand the weight. And if truth be told, if I had to deal with 100 of me, some of us know how we are, and we'll be like, nah, I ain't dealing with that. It just, truth be told. But at the end of the day, everybody has something that they carry that they can think about. And sometimes you may not even have to think about. You know what it is. But it needs to be released so that you can maneuver in a healthy manner. So that's what we're going to get into tonight, guys, Blueprint Nation. So, leave us a comment, shoot us an inbox, whatever. And if you got anything that you're dealing with, we definitely be more than happy to pray with you and, go over some things with you as well. We do have resources and things to our disposal so we can steer you in the right direction at some point, all right? So, man, let's tie into this thing, man. We're talking about, weight. So with that being said, I'm going to let y'all guys got anything y'all want to add real quick before we really get deep?
I sure can, because I recently just went through this, and one of the biggest key and takeaways when it comes to being in that type of position is you have to embrace paceness. Like you have to embrace the beauty of patience and the beauty of pace. And
that's good.
A lot of time we overexert ourselves. Yeah. For, like you say, fear of rejection. What are you fear from? Oh, well, because I say, well, I'm not going to be able to do this. I feel like my fear is attached to you because I feel like I got to perform for you. I feel like if it's not reciprocated, then I'm going to feel a certain way if I can't do what you need me to do because I may not have the capacity to do that. So I've understood from that, and then I understood the grace portion of it to where I was like, okay, yeah, I need to really kind of like, okay, forget all this. What you got going on?
Right.
Because sometimes we get tied into the gift of the person and forget the person in its entirety. So and it's like, if you're not performing for me, then I have no use for you. And if you don't know how to differentiate that and discern that, you can hurt a lot of people.
Right.
So for me, I was carrying weight that God said I gave the vision to one.
Right.
You know what I mean? I gave the vision to one. So when he told it to me in that manner, I was just like, okay, God, because, ain't nobody going to be with me when it's me and you, when that time comes. Because it's like, okay, what did you do with the life I gave you? What am I going to say? Well, this person over here, because they did this, that, and third, and then this was going over here. Okay, yeah, but only you can control what you can control. Everything else outside, you just let the chips fall where it may. So for me, that was, and I've dealt with that all my life. The fear of having to perform because it seemed like that's the only time they come around. So now it's just like, is it really genuine? Is it really real? Is it really like, are you really here for me? And over the course of the years, even with different relationships. I was talking with Apostle too, and because he cuts my hair, and he made some valid points. And have you heard from this person? I was like, no, not really. I said I reached out for a course amount of years. I ain't heard from them from 3 years, and it's just like I understand what it is. I said, but that doesn't take away from what I know what's going on behind closed doors, because I know it's not personal. So you have to differentiate that. So it's like it's different seasons and situations that prepared me for what is real, what's consistent, and what's leverage.
What you say in the mouthful?
So it's like, like, use it to your advantage. It's not always a downfall. It's not always you ain't there for me type of thing. Like, no. How can you use that to your leverage to advance to your next level? Because you can't do old things in a previous level that you're trying to expect in a new level to come. It's just not going to work because it doesn't have that capacity. It doesn't have that leverage. It doesn't have that stability you're looking for. Because it's like armor. After a certain period of time, it deteriorates. So at the next level, you're going to have to upgrade at some point and get whole new armor. You know what I'm saying? It's like don't get caught out with your whole armor of God on.
Right.
And so, I know about carrying a weight and having to release it and having to not pick that back up again.
Right. That's the hard part.
Because there's new levels.
Right.
So now you got to be more strategic and more smarter and more aware. Because if not, you'll be back in the same boat, but just at a different level. And the impact is going to be much more damaging. Because each level has its own high expectation and its high level of impact. It's going to hurt. So with different stages, you got to learn, you got to build, you got to gird. Like you got to, it's just like working out. Over time, you get stronger.
Yeah,
it's not overnight, so that's just my 2 cents,
Man, that's good, man. Because sometimes in order to go to the next level, we always talking about the next new thing, the next big thing. Sometimes it's not about learning something new, but releasing the old. Because I can't allow something new into my space. If we're talking about energy, if we're talking about projecting, if we're talking about manifesting, right? It's hard for something to come into a space that's already occupied.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if I got a 2-car garage, right, and I got 2 cars in my garage, and I want to go get a new car, right, I'm gonna have to let one of the other ones go because they ain't got space for the other one.
Right.
I'm gonna have to do something or put it on the. The space have to be made for what you're preparing for or for what you want. And I think what happens is a lot of time we're not preparing for what we say that we want.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So if there's another level of relationship that we want with an individual or individuals or organizations, business-wise, things of that nature, what are you willing to move out of the way in order for what you're looking for to occupy the space that needs to be occupied? You understand? No, you know what I'm saying? Because yes, you may need to go to this conference or you may need to read this book. I get it, but at the end of the day, what do you need to release so that way when you read that book, it sticks?
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Can you be, I've been there. We all been there. You're reading something and is ministering to you, is feeding you, and you really can't partake of it because it's occupied by a thought that got you entangled. You know what I'm saying? That you really can't walk in the manifestation of what you just read. You know what I'm saying? We've all done it, been there, do it, and probably gonna do it again. But the thing about it is being able to recognize it and acknowledge when it comes, because it's not about, like I always say, man, I tell everybody this, especially our kids, because y'all know I work a lot with kids, it's not about perfection, it's about progression. What are you progressing towards? You know what I'm saying? So you can't mishandle the process. Yeah. And the process is, I like what you said with the patience and pace. That's big.
What it said, let patience have its perfect work.
Yeah.
You got to have that. And another thing I want to add to, I came across a clip on social media where a person was talking about how God was revealing things to him, and he was like, I was just being nice. He's like, I didn't call you to be nice. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's some moments you just can't be nice. Like, you got to read the room. you know what I'm saying?
The room.
Because being nice, you want to be the ultimate peacemaker, but that's only going to last so long. You try to just be in the middle.
Yeah.
No, bro, you got to pick a side and stand on it. So
stand on business.
Yeah, so it's like, bro, and I dealt with that too, and I was like, you know what, I need to get
we
up.
all have in some way.
Yeah, because you don't want to intentionally hurt nobody's feelings or make them feel bad, but it's like, you know, come on, man, you know, you gotta grow, you gotta grow. So it's one of them things, bro. Again, being nice is fear of what's going to be on the other end of rejection.
Yeah.
It's another form of insecurity, just in a different form.
Yeah, which hand in hand leads to poor decision making.
Yes.
Because you're not thinking clearly and you're not thinking from a place. Here's the thing. When you think from a place of purpose, right? And you take the emotional side out of it, right?
Right.
There's a different connection between where you are and where you're going that begins to transpire.
Simultaneously.
Yes. Because you understand. I don't know why this kept ringing in my head when I woke up this morning. Understand the assignment, because you understood the assignment. Because when he's talking about reading the room, it's like, are you understanding the assignment in that moment? Because this is what purpose says. I love your idea, but it doesn't align with what I've got going on right now. Right. So I'm not saying that we won't do it, but right now it's not a good time for us to do it. It's a great idea, but because of where we're at right now, this is what we need to be doing. And purpose will step in and say that. But emotions will say, hey, I don't want to make him mad. Because last time I didn't use him idea, we fell out for 6 months. Or last time I didn't acknowledge XYZ, the situation went left. No, purpose says this has to be done, or this has to be cut off, or purpose don't happen.
Right.
And it becomes what we talked about behind the scene, stall.
And that opens the doors for them to let go of weight that they were trying to hang on to because they couldn't bear it. You know what I'm saying? It's like a double entendre. It's like when I had to do what I had to do concerning with the label, they are flourishing. Like and now that because they have to take more things and more into their hands now, they're flourishing. They're moving. And it's like, because sometimes you can be in a season too where you don't realize what you have and you're not maximizing the potential that is there. And sometimes it takes for you to lose something in order for you to gain something. And however that birth, whether it's through podcasts, whether it's through creating your own label, no matter what that looks like, it's not just a benefit for me, it's a benefit for both of us, because sometimes you have to look for both people. And you know, if you're looking for both people, naturally you're carrying both weights. I mean, that's just what it is. So it's just like there was plenty of time, there was many talks, and it's one of those hard decisions as an entrepreneur that one doesn't want to do, but it has to be done because one, it gives you the ability to say, hey, this is what's going on. I feel you, and I'm trying to keep your feet moving so you don't just sit and stay stuck. You know, because I see more in you than you see for yourself.
Right.
Because if you saw more, you would do more.
Right.
So it's like, I don't want to do this, but I have to for the sake of how God has me operating in the level I'm operating at, because I can't.
Yeah.
They're not weak links, but it'll be a weak link in my system. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I'm building systems now, so the people that has to come aboard, they have to be running at the same speed. What car you know that goes at a different speed than when the people who are in the same car, unless they're in a different car. Right.
That's good.
We have to go at the same pace, at the same speed, at the same time, in the same direction. We have to be aligned. And your actions will tell you if you're aligned or not, or if you want to be aligned or not. And you may not be able to communicate that, but if I can see that, then I will have to communicate that for you.
Yeah, and then you have to let's look at this from a team perspective, right? So, we may have some, ministers, pastors that maybe listen to the podcast outside of, business owners and stuff. Let's look at it from a team perspective. Right. When you distribute the weight, it becomes easier to carry. So what do I mean by that, right? And I've used this analogy, and it's safe for me to say this in our leadership meetings, because and not just our leadership meeting, but in my function as a community activist, right? So putting on together events, empowerment workshops, and things of that nature that I put on leadership conferences over the span of 2 decades, right? And carrying much of that load and seeing the effects and the impact of that, the burnout, right? The overload and stuff like that. So when I'm talking about distributing the weight, so it's like who's on your team that's willing to carry what you're carrying. Bro, Wanda made a great point. Like when you're in the same car with somebody, guess what happens? Y'all can dialogue. Y'all can talk about the situation. You can talk about what's going to happen you're on a road trip together. So, sometimes we be in the car together, man. And if something that happened that we didn't like, man, we just chopping it up, right? So all three of us may be frustrated, but because we're all three carrying the same weight, right? It's not on just one person. So now we're getting it out, and then now it's being released, and now we can go on to the next phase. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is when you're in leadership, you're at that top tier, the people around you, if they're not willing to distribute what you're giving them, then you have to re-examine if this is the person that you need in your season at that time.
Right.
So let me give you an example, right? So say we're in a building, right? We're putting together for this event, right? And so we got tables, we got chairs, we got props, we got stage things that need to be set up and all this stuff, right? And we got a team of people that's working to put this thing together. Now, I don't need your help to move that individual chair.
Right.
I don't need your help. I can go grab the chair, pick it up, and move it myself. Now, we got a stage prop that's a sofa. Now, I can't pick up that sofa by myself.
Right.
So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to ask for help, right? But if the person that you ask the help from says, okay, I see that, but I'm going to grab this chair, that ain't the person that you need in your season at the time. And and I've had a lot of people in my space over the course of 2 decades was that person that I just had to dismiss at some point. Because you give the grace, you try to see where they're at, because you're trying to see if this is a growth opportunity, right? Because not everybody's at the same place at the same time, but you want to get to that point too where everybody is at least headed in the right direction. We may have 2 different thoughts, but it still has to align with the vision of whatever you're doing. Once again, understanding the assignment. So if that person is like, okay, yeah, he need help with the sofa, she need help with the sofa, you know why those people do that? Because that sofa is heavy. And they're not willing to put in the work to lift that heavy load with you, so they'll rather go and take the light chair because I can move that by myself.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, right? So,
I do it. He's I knew it. Poke the bear. Right. The chair move. That analogies I've used that 1,000 times in presentations because I've seen it over and over again. I don't need your help for the chair. I need your help for the sofa.
Because we naturally, as natural stuff as people, we look at our strength. We can be carrying the same object, but each one of us have different strength points.
That's good.
Yes.
I know for sure you're stronger than me. I'm not saying I'm weak.
Right. But everybody had their own strengths.
If you tossing up 250 in the gym, I got the Gatorade for you. Do your thing. I'm finna go grab the 135 real quick, and I'm straight.
Proud of you, player.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so everybody, we're looking at our own strength. Here's the thing. What I'm learning is from God, we don't need strength. Everybody has children. They want to give their child an allowance. How about you give yourself an allowance?
Yeah.
Like, we don't need strength. We need allow. The action of allow. So the other day,
that's good.
A couple of I'm a say what I mean. You know what I'm saying? The other day I was at a conference with Grove, right? So me and Grove at this conference.
Hey,
call it right.
I see 86 teeth. that boy smiled before he got girl.
They hate that cheese.
Yeah. So me and Grove at this conference, right? So it was a husband and wife who was it was a relationship conference, not just a marital. it was people in there who were like friends. It's just relational, period. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like, how do you work with people? You know what I'm saying? One of them
dope.
things. It was deep. So for the ones who were in a relationship, and for the ones who came together, if you came together, then y'all came together. They asked everybody to pray for the other person, and whatever that you feel that God told you concerning that person, talk to them about it. So everybody spread it out in the sanctuary, and people was tapped in, hugged up. Wives was praying for husbands were praying for wives, homeboys were praying for homeboys, homegirls praying with their children. You know what I'm saying? It was powerful. So when I was praying for Grove, I heard allow. You, the action of allowance, bro. You gotta have the space to allow the person. You need the atmosphere to allow you to allow. You can't grow into that person if you don't cultivate your atmosphere so you can become that person. You got too many distractions. You ain't got no patience for nobody. You don't have no tolerance for nothing. So how are you gonna allow anything? If you want more patience, but every time this crazy coworker come around, you keep running off, how are you gonna get more patience? You got to come across that person. That's your time of allowance right there. Like you got to have that space. So when it comes to carrying weight, you got to know how much you can carry and stop looking at your strengths and look at the action of everybody around you collectively. Remember when they built that thing trying to get to heaven and God knocked it down?
Tower Babel.
It wasn't just one person.
Right.
It wasn't just one family. It was multiple families, multiple people. They all had different strengths. They all had different chairs. They worked together to try to get up there. It's the same exact thing. Like if you don't have in your mind, I know I need the space and opportunity to become better, you're gonna burn yourself out because you're not gonna give yourself what God granted you, which is time.
Right.
You're not gonna use the gift of time properly. You're gonna try to speed it up. You done jacked up 15 years. You think you finna get it right in 6 months? No, you're not.
Right.
You're not.
You got a lifetime.
Right.
You're not. It's not gonna happen like that.
And that's where that allowance step in.
You have the action of allow. You have to step back and look, okay, where do I really need to cut some things off, pull some things off, so I can give myself the space to develop these habits so I can become greater later.
I love that you said that, bro, because I'm going to tell you, as an entrepreneur, one of the hardest things to allow ourselves to do is rest.
Yes.
You need to be working 24/7.
Because
somebody's always out working you. If you ain't working, you ain't working.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, this new schedule God has me on, right? I'm doing my work due diligence, but I've been getting a lot more rest. And in order to be able to get these new innovative ideas, being able to strategize, being able to really think for yourself, like to really be able to pour and really make adjustments in the vision, you have to have a healthy mind. You got to rest, a healthy body. Like, how can you hold what's capacity if you never? It's like when you lifting weights. You're not lifting weights every day. You got certain days to set so your muscles can recuperate. So you got to be able to recuperate your vision so you'll know how to move, because if not, you'll make the same mistakes and you'll keep making the same decisions day in and day out. So when I was like, thank you, Lord, for this, because now I actually have a routine. And I say that to say this because I was feeling guilty when I wasn't doing nothing. I felt like I was being lazy. And it's kind of hard to differentiate that and discern that from somebody who's been working 3-4 jobs for X amount of years.
I'm trying to tell you.
So it's like, Lord, help me with this. Because I know I'm not lazy. I'm far from it. I need help. I'm doing what I can do until the help comes. I know the help is coming. So, you know what? I'm going to do what I need to do and trust. And it's like, that's why I say place your burdens on him. it ain't meant for you to carry because his yoke is easy, it's light. So it's just like that's another thing that we have to learn to trust God in those things where it's hard for us.
See, that's the thing. Stop trying and start trusting. That's what God been slapping me in the head with lately. Right? For real,
All of us,
no. Okay, so when Jesus was led into the wilderness, that's Matthew chapter 4, and I think that portion starts at verse 11. Fact check me, right? So when he
What's
was
that again?
with Matthew 4, and I think that portion when Jesus was led into the wilderness starts at verse 11.
Matthew 4.
They can read it.
Yeah, for sure, Matthew 4, right? I'm just saying. You know?
I know. Well, if it's Matthew 4, just start from the top, work your way down.
Yeah. You
That
feel
part.
me? So one of the things that Satan tempted Jesus with was with hunger. Because he fasted 40 days and he fasted 40 nights. So when you're hungry, you don't have no substance. So when you don't have no substance and you don't have no resources, the main thing that we do as humans, especially men, because of the calling, if you got testosterone in your body, you have a certain position on earth. It's as simple as that. You can't get around it, right? So you just can't get around it. So therefore, provider. So that charges us to be sufficient and self-sufficient. That's one of the things that we are challenged with day to day. How can I be self-sufficient? I'm tired of struggling. How can I take care of myself? One of the portion of the definition of self-sufficient is an adjective, and it's on the lines of something like to be able to provide for oneself without anyone's help. That's not God's design.
Facts.
Right?
If that was the case, he wouldn't have created a help meet.
Right. That creates pride. I. That creates pride. And when you do that, you start to push away and drift away from the Lord. So you start to cut yourself away from the vine that was meant for you to be connected to. You know what I'm saying? So that right there is one of the main things that we struggle with, especially as men, because we strive to be excellent providers.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we have to be conscious of too. It's our job to steward the resources that the source put here. That's how we create the system. It's our job to kind of, quote unquote, create again that Garden of Eden type of thing. Our finances, our family, our security, life insurance, stuff that protects stuff. You know what I'm saying? Different investments, stuff that keep money growing, and things of that nature. It's our job to take the resources and create it, but everything comes from the source though. Everything that our hands are on, we didn't put here.
At all.
We didn't. You know what I mean? So that's one of the biggest things right there.
Man, this is coming to my mind. Like, and the crazy thing about what we're talking about, people, man, is like he said we weren't created to handle. I said it creates pride, right?
The B2S podcast is brought to you by No Grind, No Glory Apparel, R828 edition. It's a reminder to stay strong, to be courageous, to starve your fears, and to feed your faith. Even when it feels like everything is falling apart, just know that you were born to stand out and make an impact. Head over exclusively to www.nogrindnoglory.net and grab you some merch as a daily reminder that all things work together.
It is one of the things that I can tell y'all that frustrates me is people that have resources and don't use them. You know what I'm saying? We talked about carrying unnecessary weight stalls purpose, right?
It does.
So, I'll give you a prime. I'm gonna give you an example, right? And it's crazy because I know my family. They look at me like, "Dad, it ain't that deep." I'm like, y'all missing. My thing is, why miss an opportunity when you don't have to? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So they just be chill. I'd be like, no, and so it's like, I get it, but it's like, okay, all right. So here's the situation, right? So y'all know I've been in the business for a long time, doing insurance, finance.
Right.
So had an individual, young person, right? So they was talking to me about, hey, they started this account, blah, blah, blah. I said, why'd you do that? I don't know. I said, it's not a good vehicle for you.
Right.
I say, for a person your age, that vehicle is not the best for you.
Right.
Oh, she's like, and it was like, okay. Well, can I? I said, yeah. I said, I'll look into it. Let me double check because I got, I was actually in the process of, checking up some stuff for myself or whatever. I say, so I'll circle back with you, and I say, I was telling my wife, and she was like, my wife, she just be for the most part just chill, like, okay, yeah, all right. I'm like, but no, you're not understanding. Why did that person put this person in that vehicle? Number one, you're new to the industry, and number two, the person that was training you shouldn't have allowed you to do that.
Yep.
So that's why, because it's deeper than that for me. Because number one, you're new to the game, which don't negate the fact that you should have knew better. That's not a good product for that aged individual. And then number two, the person that is over you shouldn't have allowed you to do that. Yeah. Because you could have took that same money and put it in another vehicle and got a way better return on what you're doing. And then the way that those are set up, they're tax deferred for the time being, but as soon as you touch that money, you're going to get taxed like crazy. Just, so it's like for a young person, that's not a good vehicle. Now, to an established person that already had money and they're trying to safe haven, boom, yes, that's what those are mainly for. But to give that to a young, they could have went into a brokerage firm and set up an account themselves and did better than that. You know what I'm saying? So why am I saying this? Because when you're talking about carrying weight, right, you don't want to stall purpose. So, and the purpose of that was to acquire a certain amount of money that's going to give me the best rate of return on my money for, whatever it is I'm trying to do. Right. So by putting it in the wrong vehicle, you stalled that. And so when you had access to the person that you should have called before you made that move, you didn't, and now it may cost you, because from what I'm looking at, and I got to make one more phone call, they may have a surrender penalty just for transferring the money over.
Yeah. So now you tax twice.
You see what I'm saying? So I took a financial situation and turned it into a natural and a spiritual thing. So now you'll recoup it from the interest that you're going to move it from the vehicle, but you shouldn't have to recoup it when all you had to do was make a phone call and say, hey, I was thinking about doing blah, 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 blah. What's your take on this? When you knew that the person that you was dealing with was new to that side, and you knew somebody that got 20 years in the game.
Make that make sense.
Make it make sense. So when you're talking about carrying weight, once again, when I use the sofa analogy, who's willing to help you release what is burdening you?
Bro.
You see what I'm saying?
You said a lot, because think about it. We all are natural weight carriers, right?
Yes.
So that's just the bar itself.
Champion weight carriers.
No weights. But you have a spotter who can tell you, no, let's do this. Like, it'll be a little more weight, but it could be what you can handle. And I can be there to give you the wisdom, the knowledge, and the understanding of what you're trying to live, so we can get you to where you're trying to go.
Bro, I've watched the weight training coach, and I'm watching them coach the kids. Now, I know that kid can do more than what coach is telling them to do. Right? Coach knows that kid can do more than what he's telling them to do, but he has a plan that's set up and says, no, I just need you to do this percentage of your max weight at this point. I know you can do more than that at this point, but I need you to trust the plan. Bro. Because by the time I get to the end of the workout, I will be done paced you for the strength that we're trying to obtain. Because if I let you lift what you can lift out of sequence, then when it counts, you're not going to be able to get it.
John Maxwell calls it the law of timing.
Bam,
Yes.
That's leadership is knowing a part of leadership
Is knowing when.
is knowing when to do something, not just how.
Yes.
Not just who to do it with.
Yes.
It's knowing when to do something.
Yes.
Knowing when do I execute this plan.
Yes.
I don't care if it take me 2 years to get it done.
Right.
It needed to take 2 years.
Right.
Because every time I jumped out before, it failed horribly.
Right.
Because, bro,
It's good.
King, bro,
It's real good.
bro, one thing I learned about King David, certain stuff he wasn't folding. King David was not about to take his purpose, put it on the altar, and slaughter it for some crazy stuff. He wasn't finna do that. So we shouldn't do that either.
Man, you gotta look at it. Even in all his wrongdoings, he still operated through purpose. Because he had to still serve as king. That's crazy. Yeah, that's a good point.
I know I had to file for bankruptcy. I had to file for bankruptcy in the business of taking my purpose and putting it on the altar and doing something stupid in wrong timing. Some of us need to file for bankruptcy. Get out of that business quickly.
Right. Oh, that's good. I like that.
Get out of that business. Now it's
Get
not
going.
the time to start up that business of operating in the wrong time.
Right.
You're shattering your dreams. You're shattering your purpose. You're shattering your marriage by doing something. Y'all was just about to get it right, and you don't holler at Keisha. You don't holler at Keisha, but I'm tired of my wife. She getting on my nerves. Whoop-de-whoop. Man, let me go and no, don't leave that alone. God is finna turn that thing around. You turn. Give it some time. Grace yourself. Give yourself an allowance.
Pace and patience. Yep. Allowance. PPA.
Keep praying for it.
Bro.
Pace,
Keep praying
patience,
for
and
the women.
allowance.
Go to the conference. Go get the counseling from your pastor. Holler at some men around you who done been through what you've been through, who is not gonna tell your business, who is not gonna make you look like you crazy because you feel how you feel.
Right.
Right? So we gotta file for bankruptcy, get out of that business of doing stuff out in the wrong time, and it's gonna shadow who you meant to become. Go ahead, Doug.
I'm gonna say when you're aligned and you're patient, you see more. Because we're in a society to where they want microwave everything, 30 seconds, instant pop. I mean, just no matter what it is, to when it comes to money, when it comes to resources, when it comes to just wanting to have, gimme. So I want to say this year for me personally has been the most rewarding from what God has been showing me in my awareness in my business, and being able to embrace that, it allowed me to dodge certain deals and certain publishings and certain situations that I might not catch or caught. So, for example, I had a deal that I had with another company, and I am not going to, and I say this personally and proudly because of what I put the work in to understand and research my field. I am not going to partner up with somebody that I can't do something already for myself. It just don't make sense to throw money away like that. So, had a situation, and we've talked verbally, but then we put it on paper. This is what I'm looking for. This is what I expect. So, when all of that was going to the left, I was like, hold on, wait. So you're giving me this now. The reward of that, I learned one thing when it comes to not only syncing, but just in general of how royalty-wise is generated. There's something that I didn't know that was very valuable. So, but everything else, I was like, you're charging me for this? But I'm already doing this. I'm already putting money in this. Why are you? And I wouldn't have agreed to something that you said that you were going to do X, Y, and Z, but A, B, and C, these are two completely different things. I know this already. I need to know this. And we were just going back and forth. I said, you know what? And this was one of the L's that I had to realize. And luckily, the contract just dispersed because, one, I really know that the person was in the wrong, and they knew they was. They weren't trying to give me my money back. So I was just like, you know what? It is what it is. I can't do work with you. I'm not going to do work with you. But I gained something out of that. And if I wouldn't have just took my time, I would have been just going gun ho with the person with what they were doing. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. So what we gonna do? What we gonna do? This is how a lot of artists get jacked up with 360 deals. They don't read contracts.
Yeah.
This is how you get jacked up with your brand, with your name when you're trying to go further. And it's like, no, you move when I say move.
Right.
So it's just like patience has a perfect aid to where you're trying to go.
Right.
It's been such a rewarding factor. It's been a minute, but I'm getting there. But I would rather be in a crock pot cooking, knowing that when it's ready, it's gonna be tender, it's gonna be good for who I'm serving. Mm-hmm. And not only for them, but for me, because I gotta be the right representation of that. Because I'm the foreseer of that. This is what God entrusted me. So it's like, man, we have to really stop being in a hurry to rush to get something done that we don't even have understanding or knowledge of what's going on and where we're at. And I like how you put that. It's like you have somebody over here that knows this field in and out that can help you get a better deal and have some left over. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why do we feel like that we know everything, but we've been born after the people that's been before us?
It's crazy, bro.
It's crazy.
I just had this conversation with a young person, and they agree with me. It's like this generation don't want no help. That's good in a sense. Don't get me wrong. But here's the thing, right? Here's the imbalance of society today. We are helping the youth to their detriment.
Yeah.
Because you want to give them what you didn't have or how you felt when you got disciplined. So you don't want to discipline your kids, and now we got what we got. A crazy generation that just don't respect authority and just think that they can say whatever they want to do with no consequences. That's the effect of what we have right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we mishandled that portion of growth. You know, so I'm talking with this young person. I'm like, y'all, this generation, y'all just don't want no help. They were like, man, preach, you right. Like, y'all want to try to figure it out on your own. You want to do it on your own. I'm like, but I didn't have mentors when I was growing up. I wish I had what I have right now.
I tell you.
The stuff that I do, I wish I had that. I didn't have that. Our parents only knew what they knew. That was it. And by the time they was, when mom was turning the leaf into that portion, we was grown.
Yeah.
So we never experienced, we got great parenting, but mentoring into what we are doing, just certain things we did not have as kids. So it's like if there is somebody in your space that's willing to give you game, why would you not take that?
Bro, can I play Angel's Advocate?
Go ahead.
Real quick.
Angel's Advocate.
Yeah. So, and this is just, I 1000% agree with what you're saying, dog. But I'm thinking about the young boy real quick, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I know for me, whenever I don't reach out to a certain person or a certain group of people or entity, it's because the trust has been completely broken. And with a lot of kids, like, dang, you my parent, or y'all are my parents. And this in the household, quote unquote, the mind frames, the systems that are here, not trying to curse, whatever, it's pure hell. So I really don't trust you with my life because, yeah, you my parent, you did what you did, but I can't see anything that, like, where is the growth? Like, where I can't, like, it's jacked up. Right. So when they look on social media and they see a person who was their age, got more money than their parents, got more resources than their parents, and came from the same environment that they came from, and they live in a whole different lifestyle, they gain trust in that person and that system and those people versus the ones who God entrusted them under, which is your parents. The first relationships established on earth is from that child with that parent. That's why the household is so vital. Yeah. That's why the household, and I commend you, bro, for how you deal with your daughters. because that sets the tone for when she goes out. Sometimes they don't realize it, but deep in the soil, the seed has been planted.
Right.
And sometimes it take a while for the plant to sprout. But at the same time, that seed is there from you.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah. I just had that conversation with a parent. Seeing growth with their kid and stuff like that. We literally just had this about 2-3 days ago. Just had this same exact. He's like, man, bro. He's like, if he don't make it from what we doing, it ain't on us.
Yeah.
Because his thing. I think what you're saying is totally different than where I'm coming from, and the reason is because if I'm looking at a parent or whoever it is, and you're not in the position as the influencer that I'm watching, that's a different conversation. So the trust wouldn't be there. The trust could be in that situation from a mentor or parent style, could be some undertone emotional feelings that could lie from certain decisions that were never dealt with. And so that way, then a wedge can be built to where, now I'm not going to talk to them about that because I don't like how they dealt with me over here. And so, here's the thing about with relationships, and I'm not going to be like everybody else. I can only be Mike. I'm not going to say everything, but there are certain things, and when it comes to progression and when it comes to business, you can't have no emotional ties.
Yeah,
certain things.
Yeah,
Yes.
I agree with you. It's what's
It's
best,
certain things.
What's best for the
Some things.
You know what I'm
cut
saying?
and dry.
It's certain things.
What's best?
And the reason I say certain things is because number one, you are dealing with humans, and number two, you're dealing with people that have feelings and emotions. And so we do take those things into consideration, and that's why I would say certain things. But and to what we're talking about here is you're looking at an undertone where there's an emotional scar that hasn't healed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I had to preach last Sunday, so my message was I was stemming from Pastor Ben and Nehemiah for the last couple of weeks, right?
Yeah.
And so my message was rebuild the wall, and I was talking about how in the world, when you do the research from a natural standpoint, when they bombed the city and the wall was just in ruins, right? Before Nehemiah went to go help rebuild that wall was down for 140 plus years. So you mean to tell me people walked past that rubbish for 140 plus years and nobody said nothing?
Because it's not dressed up in.
It's
not.
Here's the problem.
This is why.
I've been carrying this weight for 10 years. But you mean to tell me in those 10 years you didn't feel conviction to let that stuff go? And when I say let it go, I'm talking about deal with it.
Petty.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care if you got to go sit on somebody's couch. But you can't run away from something that needs to be scarred. And so when you're looking at how the temple is built in the middle of the city, right? And so everything is as far as dealing with that wall is in rubbish.
Yeah.
So when you're rebuilding and you're reconstructing something, it looks the same because you're rebuilding what was torn down.
Exactly.
Right?
It's
and
up to code, up to date.
You know what I'm saying? It looks the same, may not be, built with the exact same material because of what you said, codes and up to dates and materials a little bit better. But I talked about, the thing about it is everything, because the wall wasn't there, was exposed. Right? And what does walls do? It simplifies protection and it simplifies safety, right? And then also when you look at it, it also can mean identity. So
and boundaries.
Right. Boundaries, right? And so here's the thing. We have these walls that we've put up and not allow God to put up those walls. Because the Bible does tell us to guard our hearts, right?
Yep.
So, but to what retrospect do we misconstrue that scripture and be like, dang, I want to connect with Boy Wonder, but Boy Wonder remind me of Alexander. Because Alexander was the one that scarred me, but Boy Wonder is looking like Alexander, but Boy Wonder ain't got nothing to do with what Alexander did. So this wall is up, and then we carrying this weight. Dang, nobody want to deal with me. Now you carrying something you weren't meant to carry because you didn't deal with the scar. So I talked about how the city was exposed, You know what I'm saying? And so Nehemiah had to come in and help rebuild the wall, build a team to help rebuild the wall. But here's the thing, right? And then I talked about there's a difference between rebuilding and fortifying.
Yes.
So once you rebuild and reconstruct what was broken, you need to strengthen it. So even though the wall was rebuilt, the wall had to be fortified, which means it had to be strengthened for whatever. And here's the thing. The rebuilding prepares you or gives you what was done. It takes care of what happened in the past, right? Fortification take care of what happened in the future or what could. Because the reason you have to strengthen that wall is it have to be stronger for the next attack that's coming.
Yes.
I want y'all to catch what I'm putting down. So when you rebuild something and you're rebuilding your life, you're rebuilding relationships, you have to make sure that not only do you rebuild and reconstruct, but you fortify it, which means you strengthen it. So when you reconnect with that relationship, you have to strengthen that relationship. Yeah. How do you do that? You have to get to know each other on a different level. You have to nurture those wounds on a different level.
And with new eyes.
And with new eyes. You have to see with new eyes. You have to listen with new ears.
Let me tell you something, boy. You all in my week. Okay, so check this out. Like, and I mean, the way you perfectly expressed it is how perfectly it happened.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So we had a person, you'll know, he reached out to me a couple of days ago. And then actually a week prior. But a couple of days ago was more he kind of calling me back more so because, with what transpired, his feelings was hurt. So, he had to kind of duck off, get his feelings right. And then he's like, so he went back and talked to two other people that we know because our circle's small. So we all know each other. And he was like, well, I understand you was mad at this person, but when ain't had nothing to do with that. He was like, yo, you should talk to Boy Wonder because he listened. And in my head, as he was explaining his side of it and things of that nature, it's like, and I was trying to get something in, but I was like, okay, this is a moment where he just need to get off, and he good. And even if I can't bring him in the room to really deal with it,
right.
He cool on his end, so I'm not gonna do it because I know they're just gonna bump heads. I just know it. You gotta use wisdom. You gotta be aware.
Right.
But it was for him to do what he needed to do, and it was in a way so he can mend this relationship. Because he was like, man, when I seen you at such and such album release, like you came to me with open hugs. I was like, yeah, bro. I said the things that transpired was just business. I said we always still consider you as a brother. I said, but the thing is that how things were lining up and looking, we can't have that reflected on us. That makes us look bad. So yeah, you know what I'm saying? It was that person's total decision because of who you was a part of. But at the end of the day, we still love you as a brother. That ain't gonna change. We still care about your kids, your well-being, because they look at us like uncles. You know what I'm saying? So, but that exact thing happened this way. And one of the key things he said is like, man, he told me to come to you because he said, you listen. I said, yeah, I listen more than I speak. He said, be quick to hear and slow to speak. That's something I practice faithfully.
2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Use it that way.
You know what I'm saying? So when you said that, I was like, oh, I got to say this because this between you and knowledge, y'all been in my meal the last 2 weeks. And I was like, hey, brother, this is the most high, we just.
Yeah, because you got to think about it, man. You're reconstructing and you're building every day, but are you fortifying what you're building?
Because it has to have a certain weight capacity that it can carry to be strong enough to carry that type of weight. Yeah. And if it ain't up to date, up to code, it's gonna crumble.
And then here is the thing that people don't like. It takes more work.
It does.
It does.
Because you had to put work in to move debris. Whatever bricks and stuff that was there, you had to clear that out first
before you
can even start to rebuild.
Yep.
Then you had to it was work, bro. Then you had to rebuild. After you rebuild, you got to fortify. That's a little extra work to make sure you're extra protected and make sure you're extra ready. And that's the thing that people don't like.
Bro, we live in a townhouse, right? So the building that we're in, when the hurricane came through, when we was talking with Terrell, though,
Yeah,
right? And they were
yeah,
giving us the rundown because it was our first year there, right? So they giving us a rundown on, man, they had like flood and they town home, right? I'm like, man, I ain't got time to be dealing with all that. You know what I'm saying? And when the storm hit, we had minor water damage. We had water started coming down because we got upstairs, downstairs. So water started leaking through the ceiling where the fan was, right? And then water was coming up towards where the patio, going out to the patio. So water started seeping in on that end of the floor, right? So I'm trying to figure out and they didn't even know because they was telling us. I'm like, well, how water just come in through the concrete? That don't make sense. So because they was telling me, you know what, how the water. I'm like, what is that? So I'm looking at this stuff, right? I'm like, and I'm watching it. I'm like, this does not make sense at all. So when the storm got done, we walking around, blah blah blah. So we talking with the leasing office and everything, and so they're coming in. They sent somebody to look at everything. So come to find out, this is how important fortifying is. So in this situation, the fortify would be there's a crack in the building, and there's a certain spray that they spray on the buildings that fortifies the building from being, I guess what it did was where the water won't seep into the building from the storm,
Right.
Because there was like cracks, but
Like a sealant.
it's a sealant.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so come to find out, our complex was actually the section that we're in was scheduled to be sprayed because it wasn't sprayed. So that was the reason why, because everybody was trying to figure out how in the world. And then when they went to the back, they noticed it was a crack right there at the top. They was like, well, what happened was because of the wind, when it hit a certain way, it was beating the water against that crack, which allowed it to seep in. And then it began to. So the craziest thing about it, like, you don't think it's important, but you got to make sure that you have the hard conversations, because you cannot fortify and strengthen your relationship if you don't have the hard conversations of why y'all depleted each other's resources or why something went wrong in the first place. If you don't have those hard questions, then guess what? It's going to circle back and test your strength.
Yep.
And then because it's not refortified, then it's going to be worse this time than it was the last time, because what happened is you tried to amend something that was broken, and because it was broken in a different season, it's going to hurt more time. That's why when Scripture tells us when the demon was cast out, he brought 7 more with him.
Yep.
So you got to understand the concept of what he's saying. The problem is always going to be worse the second time around if we don't do the work on the first end, on the back end.
Right. Well, it's crazy because in fortification. Is that a word? Fortification.
Yes.
It's a word.
So fortification.
If not, we'll make up one. Hey.
Yeah, for sure. It's important because listen to what you just said. It's crazy, bro. You said that it was a crack on the side of the building. When rain falls, for the most part, it's coming straight down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because of uncertain circumstance, like a storm.
Yep.
Cause the rain to come at a different angle.
Yep.
You don't know what's gonna happen.
That's good. Yep.
And it's going to keep coming at different angles.
You don't know what angle adversity is gonna hit from.
Yep.
But
Exactly.
if you make sure you fortify stuff, you're gonna be straight. It don't matter what happened, we straight.
Yep.
And it's going to test how much you want to persevere.
Yep.
Because, boy, if you allow it, it'll keep you stuck.
Yep.
And from moving forward.
Yep.
And it's been testing me on that, but I've been...
Yep.
That's like, nah, bruh.
Yep.
You trying to stop my motion.
Yep. You ain't to stop my shine.
No.
No.
This was
Yeah,
good, man.
yeah.
This was good.
Yeah, man. All right, so Blueprint, man, we're going to get out y'all have, man. I think we done poured enough into this segment. And, as you begin to move, this is, we're in August, 4 months left in the year, man. Like the year just started. So don't be so consumed with where you are, all right? Be consumed with where you're going, And in the meantime, look at yourself as being trained, right? You're being physically, mentally, and spiritually fit, right? So if we take the natural standpoint, right? We go and we get a trainer, right? Yes, you can work out by yourself and get the same results. But I promise you, if you worked out with a trainer, you will probably get the results faster because they will bring something to the table that you don't have, right? So which will allow you to reach your goals in a certain amount of time more so. Because I work out, right? And I was sharing with the fellows. I guarantee you,
Look at the guns.
that if I used a personal trainer, I would reach my goals faster. You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, when you're carrying weight, right, you got to understand that there's a certain responsibility that comes with what you're doing. That's the weight of what you're doing. That's natural, right? But you got to learn how to carry that, right? But carrying unnecessary burdens and weights that has no bearing on where you're going and who you are, you have to remember there's a certain process and you have to learn about yourself and how to release that. And that's what you have to do. You don't want to carry those things into your next level. And that's what we're talking about today. And so we're going to get up out of here, man. I want to leave a couple quotes with you to kind of let this stick and marinate, as Country Wayne would say, let this sizzle in your spirit. All right, so here's a few. You can't run toward your future while dragging your past. Not everything that's heavy, listen to this, y'all, not everything that's heavy is valuable. Peace is often found in what you decide to put down. Your purpose deserves your strength, not your leftovers.
Facts.
Clock that. Sometimes the breakthrough isn't in adding more, it's in carrying less. Yes.
Brother,
Yes.
that ship has sailed. That's some good stuff.
So Blueprint, man, let that sizzle in your spirit. And once again, man, August 22nd at 1 p.m., One Bloodhound Trail, Arbordale High School. If you're in Polk County, near Polk County, get there. Bring yourself, bring your students, bring the kids. Listen, we're going to ball out. I'm telling you, pull up. It's going to be a movie. All right? So, but y'all know how we like to get up out of here, man. Shoot for the top because the bottom is way too crowded. And if you think different and be different, you'd have the opportunity to live different. And once again, we'll see you on the other side of success. Blueprint Nation, we'll see y'all next week. Peace.